further details are being given out right now with Shen's backstory, and I kind of am hoping that they're not real, they're not true, because with Shen, I actually really like his character so far. I think that he's got this whole setup of wanting to be the strongest in creation. He just wants to climb the ladder of martial arts and become OP as both a fighter and probably as a skilled ability user. But the whole stuff that's going on with what this dude Fang was talking about his sister, I'm hoping that's not really the case, and that's more of just something that he's trying to manipulate in order to get into his head. I just noticed the dude's eyebrows. The dude's eyebrows are pretty wild. He's got that snake tongue split that right down near the end. Pretty neat looking. I don't think I noticed that until now. I was looking at his the older version of him, just the older self, and he had a really nice mustache. So I was just thinking about that anytime I saw him young, I was like, oh yeah. Just looking, he looks like a really cool just martial arts dude at the time of his youth, but in his older state, he's got that old master style look to him, and part of that was his big Fu Manchu handlebar mustache. It was pretty cool. I kind of wish they kept it around in his younger state. But the stuff that's going on with Shen's sister, I'm hoping again that this guy is not telling the truth. It's going to really bum me out if he's got that kind of baggage tied to him, if he's actually responsible for his sister's death, and it's not really this Fang dude. Because he even was talking to Mui at one point in a flashback, and he's saying how one of the reasons that he's, one of his goals, rather, one of his drives is that he wants to kill his teacher. He wants to kill the old guy that taught him because he's responsible for the death of his sister. And we saw in the last chapter a little bit of information on her character in the flashback, and there was the whole aspect that she was also really talented on martial arts. The teacher Du Feng even said at one point, he referred to her as a second dragon. So whatever the special OP child of prophecy destined person thing that Shen had, also his sister had. And in the whole plot line, there's right now, I'd say there's the possibility that the way that her fate kind of goes is because of him maybe not wanting her to be competition for him, and then if he ended up using his untruth ability and made her let go, I'm hoping that that's not how it goes, because again, it's gonna be a bummer. I mean, in general, obviously, that's just gonna be a sad aspect of the story. But it's having that weigh Shen down is gonna be really rough, because that's one of those character points in the story. If you got that on your conscience, that's gonna ride heavy toll for a long time. A dead sibling because of you, especially if it's something that you didn't think about. Because in the flashback when you see him talking to Mui, he blames his mentor, but what if the whole idea that he's the one that caused his own sister's death has just never crossed his mind? He's never really kind of thought about it, because that would have to completely tear him down for a bit and put him in a depressed state. But while he's fighting Shen, he's just trying to mess with his head, pretty much just trying to do psychological warfare while they're in the middle of fighting. And then Lee shows up, and she's got these big blades, and Fang Dude just does this actually pretty cool nimble kick. He stays on one foot and then just kind of backward swats her with his other foot. Actually looks pretty badass, not gonna lie. But he ends up hurting her, and Shen's not cool about that. Obviously, that's his that's pretty much his assistant, a sidekick. And the dude ends up just taking her and even tries to mess with him more. And is mentioned that she looks kind of like his sister, oh, is this a substitute and whatnot, and then decides to take her away. That's when Andy and Izumo show up. Andy's got he's just finished off some of the lesser Umas. He cuts off one with his big blood blade, rushes down and starts messing with Fang a little bit. We see him use like this, what do you call it? 10 twist vortex fist. And I like that he's got like the upgraded versions of his techniques too, but his moves are always just fun to see, whatever weird way that he's learned how to upgrade them just by adding like pressurized blood and stuff. But he ends up doing like that punch, sending Fang back and causing a little damage. So I'm hoping Shen also joins in this fight. Like, if Shen just doesn't participate, it'll be really odd, because this guy is very important. His backstory, he's got to have some form of activity in this. He doesn't have to beat this guy alone, and it could definitely actually prove a good, it could have like the contents and the potential for like a really good character development moment. Say, like, instead of him just trying to become more powerful himself, to be, to defeat this guy in my quest to become strongest in creation, but also get revenge, it could come down to, no, we have a job to do. We have to think of like the bigger picture of what's going on. And on top of that, you can't beat this guy, so we'll beat him as a team. And like, if Shen can put his whole goal of wanting to climb this ladder, at least aside for right now, for this scenario and situation, to end up defeating this guy as a group, because that'll be much more likely for them, obviously, if they team up against the guy, because this guy's clearly stronger than Shen, unless Shen just isn't fighting at full power or something. But unless you want to have the otherwise scenario, it's like, okay, Shen's not at full power. It's like, well, then is Shen gonna show up and just completely crush this dude? Because Andy around plus Shen is dangerous enough. So I just don't really see otherwise there being any real need to do anything different to beat this guy. Like, because if it doesn't take Shen on top of Andy, then why even have Shen show up in the fight? That's why it'll be weird if Shen just also doesn't just do anything involved in this, and it's just Andy. There would have to be like a lot of character stuff going on with Shen if he's not going to have character stuff going along in the battle. Essentially, it's just right now a lot of things to think about are mostly at Shen's character and character backstory as it's being revealed, because it's focused on him right now. In reality, like the stuff with the Uma, we just got the arcs with Andy and Izumo, and it's clear that this is going on with Shen and Shen's past. So I look forward to that in the next couple chapters. It was a pretty quick to read, but it's one of those chapters that I could see myself rereading like 2 to 3 times just to kind of fully understand the picture. I really like some of the panels in general, like when Andy is jumping up to attack Fang. He's got like the twist punch getting ready. It just looks cool. It looks like he's riding the explosion and just prepping up his attack like mid-movement. But yeah, other than that though, pretty solid chapter. Pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I definitely look forward to more Shen backstory. I want to see where this goes. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button, subscribe button, check out other videos. But other than that, appreciate everybody started subscribe. Thank you all for listening. Bye.